Hello everybody, my name is DrumVillain, your name is Audience, this game is Pokemon Go, and welcome back to the channel, unless this is your first time on the channel, in which case, look at the graph, hit the subscribe button, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and this is a Master League, an open Master League team without any Legendaries on, so technically a cheap Master League team, since for the Legendaries you have to pay 100,000 Stardust for that second move, whereas for these Pokemon, for Metagross and Dragonite, it's only 75,000, so that's going to save you 50k there. Excadrill is only 50,000 for a secondary move, so that's going to save you 50,000 dust. Honestly, Master League is still incredibly expensive to play in. You're still going to max these Pokemon out to level 50, ideally, for the Open Master League, but still anyway you can save a bit of Stardust, and honestly, save some money. Like, you're going to spend a lot of money on raid passes to max out legendary Pokemon, so having a team that can go toe-to-toe without having to grind out those XL candies for legendary Pokemon that are locked in raids is pretty nice. So originally I started using this team for a bit of fun, see how it worked, and I kind of wanted to tank some points. In the last video we did hit Legend rank. I'll put a link in the description and one up on the top somewhere here for you to navigate to that video. Check out that team if you want. But I wanted to try this team to tank some points. Once you're over the 3,000 ELO rating point, matchmaking gets a lot slower, and obviously it's a lot sweatier, so we were quite happy to drop down in ELO rating quite a bit and just have some more fun experimenting again with the end of the season. But what actually happened is this team is very effective, it's very strong, and I went positive. I'm back up around the 3,000 ELO rating with this team. So I thought, well, I better show it to you guys. I think it's very interesting to be able to use non-legendaries when they are permitted and they are dominant, especially in the Master League where their stats are allowed to run rampant since there's no CP cap. Right, so this team consists of a Dragonite lead, Metagross and Excadrill in the back, a bit of an ABB line where you've got two steals in the back to deal with Charmers that might come in. Dragonite and Excadrill are both 100% level 50. The Shadow Metagross is a level 50 and it's 98% IV. I do think a normal Metagross would work fine, but the Shadow Metagross has some niche advantage situations, such as if you land a Meteor Mash on Giratina Origin, you can then Bullet Punch down if you commit both shields, which I don't think regular Metagross can do. So there's a few situations like that that it can work out in your favour, but honestly you need all the bulk you can get in most teams, especially with this team, so I do think a regular Metagross is going to go just fine for you. Now, you probably could swap Excadrill for Melmetal. That would have some slightly different matchups, but it would kind of serve roughly the same purpose. You could probably swap Dragonite for a Dragon Breath Gyarados as well, but again, it's going to shift some of those matchups in and out of your favour, depending on what you're seeing. So you got to just decide for yourself, see what you're running into, and see what you've got available to you resource-wise to build. Okay, so Giratina lead. This is a very positive lead for this team. Giratina does very well against Excadrill. It does fantastically well against Metagross. So you want to see it on the lead against your Dragonite. They're going to swap out to a Dialga, and you want to bring Excadrill in general against your Dialga because Excadrill is just much more punishing. It can control switch advantage much more easily, and if they decide they're going to commit shields, you can outpace them very, very fast to these draw runs, and once they've shielded once, that excess mudshot damage means that the first draw run that lands is going to knock them out. If they choose to not shield, they can go for a Draco Meteor and force one shield out of you before you're able to farm them down. So there is that to consider, but Excadrill is still definitely your better answer to Dialga in general. This trainer chooses to double shield the Dialga and then swap out to Giratina to try and preserve it. So we're going to swap out to Dragonite, get locked back on to this thing. We're not too stressed that we're shields down because Dragonite can comfortably survive a Shadow Ball. Like I said, this is a level 50 Dragonite, so it's got some reasonable bulk to it. I mean, most things in the Master League are pretty squishy, I think, anyway, just because of the way that CP is calculated, and so you got a lot of very attack-weighted Pokemon in these ridiculous tiers up here. But still, Dragonite can take a Shadow Ball, we farm down, and the opponent doesn't get much farm off of us. They've got a Melmetal in the back. This is brilliant for us. We can bring in Metagross because against Metagross, Melmetal has to go for Superpower. Now, the main threatening thing in this match is if they catch an Earthquake on the Dialga, and they do. They do a very, very good catch. We're going to throw an Earthquake at this Dialga, but we're still going to commit and absolutely smash Dialga to pieces. That's fine. Now, the next issue is that if they throw a superpower here, it will probably knock out the Metagross, which a normal Metagross it wouldn't, but against the Shadow, 2 superpowers are going to take it out if they're not nerfed, if the second one isn't nerfed from throwing the first superpower, if you get what I'm saying. But we already had a draw run start on Excadrill, we win CMP tie, we're going to get that through and annihilate the Melmetal. I was sweating a little bit at the end of that match because I couldn't remember if I'd saved a draw run on Excadrill, and if I hadn't, they'd have been able to throw a superpower there and actually take the win. So a very close game and well played to the opponent. Now, the lead that you're going to get sick of seeing and sick of dealing with, and it's the lead that we struggle with a lot with this team, is Zacian, whatever you want to call the damn fairy dog. It is a pain to deal with, and your team is going to struggle in general just because it's got such a fantastic moveset, great typing for resisting the dragon damage, and I think in general your best option is actually to save swap Excadrill and go straight for your draw runs. And if they stay in and decide to throw close combats, I recommend that you shield and drag out that matchup as long as you can before they swap out. This Giratina actually gets the ominous wind boost, which is absolutely disgusting. Zacian's going to come back in, we're going to force a shield with this Meteor Mash, but I don't think we're going to get to a second one, which is quite unfortunate. I think if the Giratina didn't get the boost, we would have had a little bit more health to survive the Snarls and actually get to a second Meteor Mash and force those shields out. So we're going for some fancy play here, and we're going to try and catch a play rough on Excadrill, and I don't think this will save us even if we do. It'll go a long way, but we're in a pretty bad position being shields down against this thing, and I'm pretty sure this is a close combat that's going to take us out. We're not able to get the draw run off, so we're going to get absolutely annihilated, and then they can clear the debuff, bring in Mewtwo, and they've still got a shield, so really they can just pick and choose on how to win this game. At this point they can just come with Mewtwo, make us throw us energy to try and take it out. A Dragon Claw's not going to be enough to take out the Mewtwo. We're just staying in here and fighting down to the end, but this game is definitely done. I say with a Zacian lead, I recommend that you bring in Excadrill straight away. A lot of the times they'll stop in and maybe build up to double close combat, or at least throw one, in which time you can throw a draw run, and then your switch timers are out of sync, so then you can swap Dragonite back in, give it some play against whatever they bring in against the Excadrill, if it survives that long. You know, you can shoe on around it, and I've won quite a few games by getting the switch timers out of sync. Okay, so Mamoswine obviously is an abysmal lead for this team. That ice damage is double super effective to Dragonite. It's just going to absolutely smash you to pieces. So in this match we're going to save swap Metagross, and they swap in their own Metagross to come in against us, and I think we're just going straight for Earthquakes here. We're either going to get shields or we're going to knock them out, and they actually haven't thrown any energy yet. They were really building up. That they let it through. Absolutely annihilated that poor Metagross. Good lord. They lose so much energy. We've still got shields. We've got shield advantage. We've got switch advantage. This is done. We're going to throw an Earthquake at the Melmetal. There's a lot of pressure on them to not shield this, and if they don't, Melmetal's going to get annihilated. They do shield. Okay, that's cool. We actually CMP tie, I think, from the looks of it. So they're going to throw another superpower and take out the Metagross, which is fine. Now they're going to swap into Fan Down with Mamoswine. That's also fine. And now I think we're going to bring in Excadrill. We've got 2 shield advantage, which goes a long way. But Mamoswine can hit Excadrill very, very hard. It's got Bulldoze, and even the Avalanche is going to hit very hard. So we're going to build up some energy, swap into Dragonite, force the Mamoswine to throw, which is fine. We're just using the Dragonite as an extra shield to buy Excadrill more time to get more energy, because it needs to ideally throw 2 draw runs at this Mamoswine to take it out, and we have to throw a draw run at the Melmetal to finish it off. It's pretty low, but not that low. And actually, we're going to have to farm down this Mamoswine here and then just have a draw run for the Melmetal. And that's going to be a good game. I think the opponent definitely miscounted or misjudged our energy in the Metagross mirror match, so that they let that Earthquake through, which really cost them heavily in that match. And with us going straight Earthquake, they could have baited us with Meteor Mash and potentially got switch advantage, which would have been a lot scarier. Now, next matchup, Swampert lead. This is the dream. You love to see Swampert locked against Dragonite. Dragonite can do so much work. Swampert, unless it's got Sludge Wave, can't really do anything. To Dragonite, you can take so many charge moves from that thing. And they're going to swap out into a Melmetal, and we're going to bring in Excadrill. And this is because, the main reason to bring Excadrill rather than Metagross, I think, is just because you can survive a superpower. Really, you can bring in either, but But my reasoning here was I shield a superpower up on Excadrill, but I didn't need to. You can survive one superpower and then throw a draw run which will knock out the Melmetal either way. So now this opponent has shield advantage, but we've got a lot of energy. So we're going to throw 2 draw runs at this Swampert, and this is either going to knock out the Swampert or it's going to get at least their first shield. We're probably going to see the shield from them, yeah. It would be a little unfortunate for them to let that Swampert go down quite so fast and then be at the mercy of my Dragonite, my Metagross and my Excadrill. It's a Garchomp in the back. It's a Mudshot Garchomp, so we're going to be able to do a lot of work here with Dragonite. We're going to get the shields with these Dragon Claws, and then we're just going to do damage. We swap to Metagross actually and force them to throw. We're curious to see if they've got Earth Power or Sand Tomb. We're not going to shield Metagross, just see what they decide to do. It's an Earth Power, so that dumps quite a bit of their energy, and we've still got a shield to shield whatever they throw now at the Dragonite, which if they throw Earth Power, it's fine. We don't mind shielding that up. It's still a lot of energy for them to spend. We're going to make it to the Dragon Claw, and the opponent surrenders. If someone swaps in Melmetal, I do think you should swap to Metagross, honestly, because then they've got to throw superpowers to do any meaningful damage. You can just threaten the one-shot constantly with Earthquake. I think it's a better position to be in general, but Excadrill does fine as well. Now, another Giratina lead and another Dialga safe swap, and this is going to be the dream scenario once again. In most cases where you see a Giratina Origin lead, you're probably going to win the matchup just because what they've got in the back is probably going to be weak to steel types. Giratina in the Master League is very often used as a counter to things like Melmetal, Excadrill and Metagross. So having it locked against your Dragonite is a very, very difficult position for a lot of opponents to be in. Now they're going to bring the Giratina Origin back in, and we've got so much energy. As you can see in that Dialga matchup, they did let the draw run through and go for a Draco Meteor, which would KO Excadrill at that point. Excadrill resists Draco Meteor, but Draco Meteor hits like an absolute truck. Now we're going to get 2 draw runs through and get this Giratina super low, which gives us a lot of versatility in what we can handle in the back with so much health on Dragonite and Metagross. But they've got Excadrill, and this is pretty bad news. Excadrill can do a lot of work against these 2 Pokemon. It's resisted the Dragon Breath, resisted Dragon Claws or Hurricanes, resist Meteor Mash on Metagross, and it outpaces all these Pokemon as well. So we're going to try and catch a Rock Slide on Metagross. Let's hope this is. It is. That's fantastic. Now we're just going to come in and build up towards the Meteor Mash. If we get to it in time, we're going to throw it and force a shield out of them. We're going to let this go through no matter what. If it's a draw and it knocks us out, that's fine. But now you see the Excadrill's getting pretty low, and we've got more than 2 Dragon Claws worth of energy built up on Dragonite. So we're going to throw the first Dragon Claw, get the shield, throw the second Dragon Claw, get the second shield, and we've got a shield to shield up a Rock Slide. So we should be able to make it to this third one, and by this point the Dragon Breath damage and the Bullet Punch damage has added up so much that this should be enough to take out Excadrill and give us the win. Should be enough. Is it clutch? Have we managed to pull it off? We just have. And then the Giratina comes back in and gets farmed down. GG. There's been a couple of games using this team where I found myself down a shield against an Excadrill in the back with Dragonite and Metagross. And honestly, I think the only way to win it is to catch a Rock Slide onto Metagross or catch a draw run onto Dragonite to waste that energy. And that really does make all the difference in being able to deal with Excadrill. I've pulled it off a couple of times with this team this week, so it is very doable. Excadrill's very predictable. It's 5 mud shots for a draw run or a Rock Slide. It never baits because they cost the exact same energy. So it's 5, then 10, then 15, then 20, and so on for it to get to its charge moves. Okay, so Zarude, the new dark green monkey boy, right? I'd say it's a pretty good matchup having Dragonite against it. Metagross doesn't really want to see it because the Dark Pulse is going to hit so hard. Zarude isn't resisting the steel moves in any way though, so Metagross can put in some good work back, but Zarude does outpace Metagross to those Dark Pulses, so it is quite threatening. They safe swap into a Metagross and we've got Excadrill to punish this. Again, it's a similar position where they can choose to not shield and still make it to an Earthquake, which we're going to shield up and then we're going to farm down completely since they did throw that Earthquake, so we knew they wouldn't have time to get to another move that could knock us out. So now we've got a lot of energy to dump Rock Slides into this Zarude, and this isn't quite going to KO. It's going to get them pretty low if they do let it through. And then once again, it's going to be a case of can Dragonite and Metagross between them sweep whatever's left in the back. We're going to let this go through. It should be the Power Whip. Yep, it's going to take us out. That's no worries. And they're actually going to stay in and get farmed down, give us a little bit extra energy. And again, another Excadrill. But now we've already got a boatload of energy. We go straight for the catch because Dragonite's a lot lower though, so it can't survive one Rock Slide. We catch a Rock Slide. Absolutely beautiful. And same strategy here. We're just going to come in with Metagross. We're not going to shield anything up. This Excadrill tries to build up extra energy. And bear in mind, we don't need to go for an Earthquake here. You just go straight for the Meteor Mash, because if they let it through, you can just farm them down with either Metagross or Dragonite. Probably Dragonite, so you better shout for trying to farm down Excadrill, because that Dragon Breath damage just chips away so fast. Now, we're coming in with Dragonite. We've got 2.5 Dragon Claws. We've already got 1 shield. We're very close to a Hurricane. And a Dragon Claw here won't be enough to knock them out. So we do have to commit to going for the Hurricane. It's going to be close. They've got excess energy, but we're able to make it. Get this Hurricane off. This is going to do big damage, even though it's resisted, and take them out and give us the win. GG. So that's 2 games in a row pulling off against being shielded down against an Excadrill with Dragonite and Metagross. It is possible. You just got to really try and get them to waste some energy somehow. Okay, we got another Wacky Zacky on the lead, and I think the plan here is going to be Safe Swap Excadrill, see what they choose to do. As you can see, it's choosing to stay in a bit and build up energy. It's obviously going for 2 close combats here to either get both shields or KO us. So we're going to throw a Dragon straight away, and this is fine. They do let it through because they can very comfortably take it, but we're not here necessarily to try and knock them straight out. We're here to stall the switch timer, because now they've thrown 3 charge moves have been thrown since we swapped, and now they're swapping to Giratina. But you see that our switch timer is coming up for Dragonite very soon. So we're going to build up, throw a draw run. If switch timer's still not up, we're going to throw another one. So we're not quite up, and then we can lock Dragonite against this and preserve Excadrill. And the idea here is that then the Zacky boy is going to have to throw a close combat and then debuff itself by throwing that to deal with at least one of my steel types, and then you can deal with them with probably the bullet punch damage from Dragonite. We're going to build up towards, we were getting a little bit, we wanted to get to Hurricane basically. We'll throw a little early, but it might seem like we've got Hurricane. Dragon Breath's very hard to count. We do get a shield, that's absolutely huge. And now this fairy dog is getting very low. This Dragon Claw is going to be quite threatening, but they do know it's going to be a Dragon Claw. They know they can take it, and they got to throw to take us out. They're not going to be able to farm us down. They throw a Wild Charge. And now I think we can bring in Metagross and Bullet Punch them down. Yeah, their defense was so debuffed that 2 Bullet Punches takes them out before they can throw another move. They got Dragonite in the back. Dragonite locked against an Excadrill with half health, a Shadow Metagross with full health. At least one of these moves is going to get through, and then we're just going to be able to take them out, because this Bullet Punch damage is going to add up so much that the Dragonite is definitely going to be in Rock Slide range. Unless this is a Draco or a Hurricane, it's not going to take out Metagross. It's a Draco, hits like a truck, and then their attack is so debuffed they're not going to be able to deal with Excadrill. So that's going to be our game. GG. So I do think that stalling the switch timer when you swap out against a Zacian lead that decides to stay in and throw close combats is pretty effective. And if they do swap out straight away and you can get switch advantage, Metagross does pretty well against Zacian. Right, Mewtwo lead. This is pretty tit for tat. You can survive 1 Side Strike, they can survive 1 Dragon Claw. If the Mewtwo happens to have Ice Beam, that's going to absolutely send you into the next dimension with like 6,000,000% damage. So we're going to try and catch and assume that it's a Side Strike or an Ice Beam or whatever, but we'll know we'll survive it. And we take that comfortably, and Mewtwo's going to stay in. And now we think, well, maybe they've got Shadow Ball, maybe it's a level 50 double legacy Mewtwo, which it is. Shadow Ball, so that's a worthy shield. We're now on even shields, we've got quite a bit of energy, and they're going to bring in Yveltal to punish our Metagross, and it is a very good answer to Metagross. 1 Dark Pulse does absolutely annihilate Shadow Metagross. They get a little bit greedy with energy. They didn't realise that we were actually above a Meteor Mash when we threw the first one, and they just survived. Look at that damage, it's so close to knocking it out, but they get the move off. We're going to let it go through. They can take us out all they want, bring in the Dragonite, farm them down. We've now got shield advantage at the cost of switch advantage, which I think is absolutely fine. We're going to see what they're going to bring in. It's the Mewtwo again. We know the Mewtwo spent its energy throwing the Shadow Ball at the Metagross, So we can get to this Dragon Claw, take out the Mewtwo, and then what have they got in the back? Can it deal with Excadrill and Dragonite? It's a Dialga. Bring in Excadrill straight away to guarantee that we can get that draw run off, and the opponent's going to surrender. GG. Now, we could have stayed in the matchup with Mewtwo against Dragonite, but then we'd have been giving up shields, and then Yveltal can go on a Focus Blast Rampage against Excadrill. It'd have been a little bit scarier, so catching that Side Strike was a very nice way to waste some energy. Now, another Zacian lead here. We're going for the same strategy, swapping to Excadrill and start throwing draw runs. Now this one decides to throw straight away, which means I'm probably going to swap straight out. We might only, so we haven't been able really to stall the switch clock out. We wanted to maximize energy and not let them get a free snarl through, but that meant that they could get away before we threw a move to stall the clock a little bit more. They bring in a Mewtwo, which isn't the best answer to an Excadrill with energy, because Excadrill can survive one Side Strike pretty comfortably, depending on what they decide to throw a Shadow Ball, which we can just survive, but we are going to get farmed down by the Psycho Cuts, which is really unfortunate. We do get the shield out of them though, so we are even on shields. We're going to let this go through on Dragonite because we know it's locked against Wakizaki anyway. We're just going to build up energy. We might have, no, we're going to let this go. We're going to put it all onto Metagross. Can Metagross sweep this team? Depends what they got in the back. Get ahead on energy with a Bullet Punch there against the Mewtwo. And can Metagross deal this in a Yveltal in the back? No, we can't deal with this. Not unless for some reason it lets a Meteor Mash through. I think we're just going to surrender this game. I think it's over. They get to Dark Pulse faster than we get to Meteor Mash. So there's nothing we can do there. We're just going to surrender that match there. Good game. I do think it's vitally important to throw a draw run against Zacian as fast as you can, just to get that damage off and to stall the clock out as much as you can. Right, Zarude. Again, like we said, this is a very good lead. They swap out into a Melmetal, and we've got Excadrill to punish this. Again, as we've said, Metagross or Excadrill is completely fine against this. Maybe Metagross would have been the better shout in general in this game, because now we're going to go down a shield for this, because we're going to take double superpower, and then obviously one draw run's going to knock them straight out, which is very, very nice, and we do have a fair bit of energy to then dump into Zarude, assuming that's what's going to come back in. But as we said, you can go either way. It's totally your preference. If you're happier dealing with Melmetal with Metagross, go with Metagross. If you're happier dealing with it with Excadrill, go with Excadrill. Both are completely acceptable counter swaps. We're going to get to a second Rock Slide. This isn't really going to threaten all that much. We'd have to get to a third one to really threaten big damage. We get farmed down, which means that Zarude has a lot of energy, and they got a Metagross in the back. So you know what we're going to do? Same strat as Excadrill. We're going to try and catch the ineffective move on Metagross. We catch Meteor Mash, that's fantastic. Right, now it's going to go straight for Meteor Mash. We've already done some damage, and it's all about chipping this Metagross down. I think they're going to throw another Meteor Mash. We're going to let it go. We're going to gamble, but it's not an Earthquake. It doesn't knock us out, and we're going to go straight for the Earthquake. Actually, we're only going to get one move off. You might as well go for the Quake. Are they going to let it through? We'll see. They don't. They do shield it up. That's fine. Now we're going to come with Dragonite with, again, a fair amount of energy. 2 Dragon Claws worth here. And I think the better play here is to go straight for the Hurricane. Get the shield or knock them out, but they let it through. Oh, that's really, really unlucky that they actually didn't shield that up. I'm going to shield the Meteor Mash, and now we can farm down with Dragon Breath. They realise that, swap straight out to Zarude to start throwing some energy. This is going to be a super close game. We need to either farm down Zarude and Dragon Claw the Metagross, or get to this Dragon Claw, throw it, and then hope that we can Dragon Claw down the Metagross. I think the Zarude's very, very close to another Dark Pulse. It did get quite a lot of energy against the Excadrill, so we're going to throw that straight away, get it out of there. And now it's a damage race. It's super close. Who's going to win? Oh, we just take them out before they take us out, and that's going to be a good game. So in that matchup, would have been in a much stronger position if we would have swapped Metagross into the Melmetal and then had Excadrill to deal with Metagross at the end. And that's a gamble you got to take, where you got to judge what they've got and think about whether your Pokemon in the back is going to be able to handle what you think they've got in the back. And that is where I'm going to leave this video for you guys. Consider leaving a like and a subscribe if you do enjoy the teams and the content. It helps me out massively. If you're already subscribed to the channel, you're an absolute legend. You're a champion. And I'll catch you guys next time.